Oh.
Living in Las Vegas starts now. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome from Las Vegas, Nevada, that groovy little podcast that gives you a true first-person look into what it's like to call Sin City your home. The Living in Las Vegas podcast. Somebody just got fired or resigned. We'll talk about that in a second. And now your host, Stevie, a man who clearly needs some kind of introduction.
Steve,
otherwise you wouldn't know who he was.
Who is it, brother?
Mr. Scott. Welcome, everybody, to the Living in Las Vegas podcast here on the Vegas Video Network. Oh, you are the kindest people in the world. And by the way, allow me to congratulate you, because you're watching or listening to the longest running podcast about Las Vegas that actually originates from Las Vegas, which means that we're not only going to talk about what it's like to live here, but we're going to be talking about adventures on the Strip, downtown, Fremont Street, other cool places here in the Valley. And by the way, if you're a visitor or a tourist, a fan, hell, you might even be thinking about moving to our fair city. Well, guess what? This show's like your own secret handshake to all things cool and groovy. Our free show is available live on the first and third Tuesday of every month at 7 o'clock Pacific time at vegasvideonetwork.com/live. Again, vegasvideonetwork.com or Notworks. It's a new German show.
Notworks?
That was Oompa Band.
Do you need a second to register that on GoDaddy?
Yes, I do. How is your GoDaddy bill, Scott? Thousands of dollars. vegasvideonetwork.com/live. Come on over. Like Christina Aguilera says, come on over, baby. Join us. We're having a good time. We've got some of the coolest people in the live chat. Here they are, by the way, right now. Look, there's Pops and Face Jitters and Ace of Bats and Vegas Wee and Mike Q and Gregor, who's a bit of a cheater. All kinds of super nice people hanging out there. And the other cool thing about being in the live chat, if I might take a moment to talk about it, is this. Inside scoopish. So, for example, we start the show at 7 o'clock. We end the show at 8 o'clock-ish.
Usually.
We're getting pretty good at that recently.
Better.
Oh, that was big. Thank you, TriCaster gods. But more than just that hour happens. We do a pre-show. You get to watch the sausage being made. We spoke about many fun things in the pre-show.
The sausage fest that it usually is.
That's exactly right. And then afterwards, at 8:01, we start Vegas Video Network 2.0, Vegas Video Network After Dark. This is when we talk about the things that we didn't want on the record during the live show. You can't see that or hear that unless you're in the live chat with arguably the nicest people that you're seeing right there in the whole wide world. Hey, I'm your host, Scott Whitney. Konnichiwa, buenas noches. How you doing, hot stuff? I am the founder of the Vegas Video Network, so on behalf of all the shows here, I appreciate your support. And on behalf of this groovy little podcast, thanks for playing along as well. And I'm joined as well by the great and powerful. You know him as Pimpin' Wayne, everybody. There he is.
Hello.
Oh.
How are you doing? Welcome to Scott's Humble Abode.
That's right. By the way, big news. We just heard about it. Our good buddy Steve Wynn, we've had him on the show, no times whatsoever.
Well, he's been busy, but I think his schedule just cleared.
Opened up. He just resigned as CEO of Wynn Resorts.
And as we were talking about, with just a couple more letters, they'll be able to salvage that sign across the top of the Wynn.
This is why Wayne is clearly a visionary.
Clearly.
Wynn, W-Y-N-N, Whitney, W-H-I-T-N-E-Y. The difference in letters.
It's an H, an I, a T, and an E.
That's it.
A height.
They're
a height away.
I'm a height away from being up there in that
the
big,
Whitney
the Whitney.
And the Encore.
I like that. And by the way, I'll change my font to match that font. I've always liked that font. I think it's classy. I like the sparkly lights in the font. Here's what I won't do. And for those of us who remember the Wynn Resort when it first opened, I'm not getting on the top of that building and I'm not saying welcome to Whitney, because I will shit myself if I'm up there.
To be fair, he probably would have too, but he couldn't see.
He couldn't see anything. He's got myocardial clapidopodus or whatever it is, and he couldn't see where he's going. But if he was a normal person, he'd have been scared out of his frickin' gourd. All right, let's get started with the big show. A lot of live chatters talking about they could call it Wayne instead of Win.
You could have. You'd need less letters. Oh. You'd only need an A and an E.
And they're probably a little tight on cash right now, and it's going to get tighter.
Yeah,
perhaps. So, and maybe we call it Wayne.
It could be the Wayne.
I like the Whitney better though. The Whitney actually sent. Well, Arch is a Whitney villain. That sounds like a thing. Okay. Hey, you know what? There's no question that we are fortunate enough to live in the entertainment capital of the world. Can you prove that, Scott? Absolutely. Have you ever heard of the Cirque du Soleil? Yeah. David Copperfield? Mm-hmm. Blue Man Group? Sure. Elton John? Mm-hmm. Celine Dion? Yeah. You've heard of all these big name shows. But the truth is, besides these big name shows, there's lots and lots of shows. How many shows, Scott? Well, at last count, about 147. 147 shows going on in Las Vegas every day. Day in, day night. And it's not the A-level shows. It's not just the Cirque shows. It's B-level shows. C-level shows. Mm-hmm. Dare I say, D-level shows.
Does it go that far? Does the scale go that far?
Clearly at the Royal Resort. We're going to go see some of those later. I guarantee you're going to come out there going, huh, that there was a D-level show.
Were they a former sponsor at one point?
They were not a sponsor. The guy who used to run that place is a friend of mine.
Oh, okay.
But he's not there anymore.
Okay.
Well,
F those guys. Yeah.
So you've got these B and these C and these D level shows. And these are shows that you've probably never heard of before. But the funny thing is, a lot of these shows are as good or quite frankly better than these A-level shows. Have you ever been to an A-level show, Wayne, where you walked out and went, what the hell was that all about?
No.
I can think of one right now.
Oh, you went to that?
Yes.
Oh, my. Did you, second question, did you pay actual money for that?
Yeah, I did, because a friend of mine came to town. He goes, I want to go see Chris Angel. I'm like, why? What have you done wrong? Who are you making amends to? What's wrong with you? Because I just want to see it. I hear it's really good. Oh, well, I'll go because I haven't seen it and I'll talk about it. And I walked out there doing this kind of thing, the shaking of the head going, what the hell is going on?
I remember seeing an article. I think even our boy did a review the first couple weeks where he even said people were walking out.
Yeah, it was bad. It did get better, low bar.
It's
of course
gone though.
I heard that it was true.
Or it ended already.
Yeah, and Cirque had removed their branding. Basically, it seemed like they had removed their brand, but that's neither here nor there. Here's the thing. Here's what your buddy Wayne and your buddy Scott have decided to do. We have decided to make it a thing where the two of us go out together and sample what's out there. We are risking our time, risking our money. Well, not really money. A little bit of money. Got to buy a drink.
For what we pay for drinks at Bally's.
Bam. Right. Well, I didn't pay because, well, we'll talk about that later. So we've gone out there. So we've got a new feature for the show. Okay. Now, this feature is very much like Pick Your Poison, a fantastic feature that many people like.
Is it going to come with a sound and graphics package next?
Maybe. We'll see. But this new feature is called Show or No Go. Again, Show or No Go.
For those of you right now racing to try to register that.
Too late.
Too bad.
I own it.
Yeah.
So what do I mean by show or no go? Should you go see the show or is it a no go? Now, Scott, that you've actually put some thought into this.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Do you have a general structure for the show? Yes. Yes, I do. For this particular feature, I do. Here's the general structure. Here's what we're going to be covering for each one of these shows.
Please tell me.
That would be fantastic. Right, because this is all new news to you.
Right.
Okay, so first, we'll talk about the venue. The venue. Two sides to the venue. First, the property, the casino, the building with which this show lives. We'll talk about that. Then we'll talk about the room itself.
Room.
We'll continue on.
Okay.
View to the stage. What's the eye line to the stage? Can you see? Is there a bad seat in the house? Are they all good seats? Is it fun to be there? Does it smell good? Well, we're going to talk about all those things. Okay. Then we'll talk about the performance itself. We'll give a summary, a general concept of what's going on there. Then we'll talk about the talent, the people on the stage. Did anybody stand out? Who's making that show happen? We'll tell you the best parts of the show and the worst parts of the show. Oh. That's right. Equal opportunity. Any more, Scott? Yes. We'll talk about the cost. What does it cost to go to the show? And are there discounts available? Yes, we'll cover that. And then finally, we will give it a show or no-go, very much like we used to do, called Hot or Horrible. Now it's show.
Can I say things
or
like
no-go?
5 stars?
You can. It's A++ is the joke, by the way. If you're going to do the joke, do it right, please. Okay. Are we ready?
I think so. I've got my notes.
Okay, fantastic.
All right.
Our first show is at the Bally's. Now, Bally's is a fantastic little casino. I'm sure you've all seen it before. By the way, you know what used to be at Bally's? You do. MGM Grand.
Oh, yeah.
MGM Grand was there.
Yeah, in the 80s.
Yeah, right before it caught on fire.
Right.
Bally's of today, of course, it's a Caesars property. It's I think it's actually getting a little bit cooler, hipper.
Oh, I can tell you it's definitely getting more expensive.
Yeah. Well, and we'll talk about that if we have time at the end there. It's a nice little property. Is it the best property on the Strip? No. The Wynn was. No, well, maybe not some more. I bet you can get a better deal at the Wynn coming up, though. This show we're going to see, the first one is called The Misbehave Game Show. The Misbehave Game Show. Misbehave. I
suppose with a little bit more creativity and thought, we could have brought up the website or something.
Well, that's what she looks like over there. Yeah. We could have done that, but I'm busy doing pictures and designing stuff and getting domain names.
Because you're left-handed and you have an Android.
That's something like that. It's all backwards and shit. So the Misbehave Game Show over at the Bally's. It's located. The showroom is called the Back Room. Now, where is the Back Room? Well, it's literally in the back of the room. So you walk in the main entrance, like where the valet is, and you walk as far east as you possibly can go. And before you go down the escalators, you make a hard right, and there it is. Little guy, right by BLT. It used to
actually be a club before they turned it into a showroom.
Oh, was it?
It was called, not Rendezvous, but something along the lines, one of those one word trendy.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a pretty small room for it to be a club. Although actually it's not that small. The entrance is actually is bigger than the actual room itself. Right. That's interesting. That just occurred to me. Huh. Look at you being inside scoopish. So the room itself, it's nice, small, fun, great energy. Like I said, it's right by the BLT Steakhouse, which is at the far east side of the deal. Okay, view to the stage. This is a really small room, so the view is fantastic. There really isn't a bad seat in the house, with one exception. And it was where we were initially sat. So we got there late. In other words, we got there right at 8 o'clock, which is the start time. And basically, the place was already packed. This is a very popular show, by the way. So they're like, Mr. Whitney, Mr. Crown, we'll put you in the front row. I'm like, front row? That's super nice. Let's go. So they got a couple chairs from, I don't know, the back and put it in the first row, far stage right. So basically I could see the end of the stage, and that was about it. So I whispered something into somebody's ear. I'm not going to tell you what I said, but basically it was, my friend there is handicapped. He can't see anything. Is there any chance we could move over to one of those booths? And so we got a booth. All right. So it's a pretty nice room, though. Okay, let's move on to the performance. How would you describe the Misbehave show?
This is the way I described it to my wife. I said, have you ever seen, knowing that she had, have you ever seen the show Whose Line Is It Anyway? And she goes, yeah. I said it was like that, just more adult humor. Yeah.
That's an interesting take because of the crowd work. A lot of crowd work. So I would call it as, it's basically Misbehave is the person you see on the screen on the right-hand side. That's her. She's actually relatively well known in London. She also was in Absence in New York. but it was on England's Got Talent in the UK.
She's
got
also
kicked.
a professional sword swallower.
That's right. She's got a lot going for her as a drag queen. So she's a host of this game show. It kind of feels like a booze-informed, naughty game show with tons of audience interaction. Great lines, lots of crowd work, and super clever marketing. Holy crap. You know, you look at this and you think to yourself, I think I know a little bit about Facebook. I know a little bit about the Instagram. Bullshit.
How about a two-shot?
I don't know anything about that stuff. I learned a whole lot about these. I'll give you an example. So one of the things they do in these, so basically it's a game show. And it's two sides against each other. It's the iPhone people on one side and then the smarter people on the other side. So iPhone people, smart people, and they shout out these different topics. So for example, you can see here in the back of the stage all these cardboard titles and stuff. They use the cardboard as a major theme for this show. Everything is cardboard based. All the titles for all the games are cardboard based. All the jokes are basically on big pieces of cutout cardboard. So it's fantastic. So they do these different contests, and then either side shouts out the answer, and whoever wins, wins. And it's pretty loose. For example, you know, they basically say, if you just ask for it, you'll get it. And then if you just basically jump up and go, I want a point. Fuck, you get a point.
Because that was a theme. Remember, do you remember Whose Line Is It Anyways?
I do. Oh yes.
Drew would always say the points are made up and they don't matter, and 20 points to this.
That's right.
Yeah, 10 points for that. So it's very similar along those lines.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'll give an example. So the games, the mini games, if you will, within the game show, could be something as simple as Scream.
Yeah.
And then which side is louder, right?
And then whoever screams first and loudest gets a point.
And then the next sign they held up was Scream Quieter. And of course, the gag is
Quieter. Right.
So
it's fantastic.
Right.
Well, I was in hysterics all the time.
There was take a selfie or be the first person to send us a text message.
Now, this is the brilliance of marketing that these guys have. So they put up a piece of cardboard with a telephone number on it.
A real number.
And they're like, the first person to send us a selfie gets a point. Well, so what just happened? Everybody in the room.
I'll tell you what just happened. I fucking won that game.
I actually didn't put my selfie in there, but it was basically me doing that thing. So what happens is they just got everybody's phone number in 30 seconds. So somebody wins, and off on the side, they didn't really use this very often, but off on the side, you would see occasional text come in.
Did you see mine?
Oh, no, I didn't. Hold on. Hold on, let me see if I can get that. All right. There's Wayne's selfie. Yeah, I'll get you mine. So while this is going on, they're getting all these selfies, and then the selfies are showing up on the side occasionally. So they have like these scrolling videos going on. So occasionally you see yourself up there. That wasn't happening as much as I thought they would do, because I think that would have been a great idea. But basically, they were getting all these selfies, and they did it a couple times where they asked for that kind of stuff. And I did one that was, I think, yeah, here it is right here.
Oh, the dead air for the people listening
to the
podcast is great. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's the one that I sent.
But it wasn't first.
But it wasn't first. It was the best. As a matter of fact, they text me back at the end and said, good job, or and everybody got a well done. Yeah. Wow.
No, I believe I got a great shot. Thanks for playing.
Yeah. So super smart. I'm just like, God damn it, that's the smartest way of getting people's phone numbers I've ever seen, because it's immediately opt in. Okay, so who are the talents? There's two people who are in this show. There is Misbehave, that's the one on the right side, and then I believe he was called Tiffany.
Yes.
Yeah.
His real name's Brett.
Oh, is that right?
He's Brett Pfister, and she, I forget her name. But they're both known. He actually is a DJ in underground clubs.
Oh, is that right? Oh, very cool. And so
he's a trained, you'll get into this later, I'm sure. He's a trained performer.
Yeah. So she, as I mentioned before, has a pretty strong background, with absinthe and so on and so forth. And was just really sharp. Some of my, I'll get to this in a minute. And then Tiffany, which is the guy, who was kind of quiet in the beginning, and that's Tiffany there doing a handstand, and that's Tiffany there doing the splits. And this is a dude who they had this one part, and it might have been this piece here where he was up on, I think it was on a pole.
No. It was like a ball joint.
That's right. That's right.
Ceiling.
That's right. And so he's up there doing this crazy stuff, and one of the lines as a throwaway line was, "There you go. That's what 4 years of clown college does for you," or something like that. But what that really was is this guy is a trained dude.
Yeah.
And they were both sharp as a tack, man.
Absolutely.
You know, one of my favorite things is the idea of crowd work, of being able to respond to what's happening in real time. And there's a certain skill to that. And, you know, for a lot of comedians, when you see them do crowd work, it's actually not crowd work.
Right.
They all have these same lines.
My favorite was Vinny Favorito. And you go there, and the first time you see it, you think, man, this guy...
Perfect example.
Is like, this is hilarious.
Perfect.
This guy is sharp.
That's perfect.
And he's funny. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I like Vinny Favorito.
Oh, yeah.
But
he called me the white Poindexter. No, the white Urkel.
But the problem is, then when you go to Vinny a second time, you're like...
Same joke. Same exact joke. Oh, there's the white guy in glasses.
Right.
You're the white
There's
Urkel.
an interracial couple.
Yeah.
There's an Asian.
Yeah.
There's...
Yeah, it's crazy, right? So in the comedian world, these folks kind of know crowd work actually is a little lazy for the most part because it's all the same kind of shit. Now, there's every chance that these guys were doing crowd work that was lazy as well, but guess what? It didn't seem lazy. These seems like these guys were really getting into it. And as you can see in the picture here, the crowd was really, really into this thing. They had another entertainer, I guess you'd call him or her.
I kind of felt like it was like an intermission. Almost.
Yeah, I agree. So it was this guy who kind of, well, it was a woman, I think, who was, you know, kind of a butchy woman, or, you know, a heavyweight gal, and reminded me of the guy that Chris Farley did in Saturday Night Live.
Yo,
this guy.
Right.
What's that guy's name, live chat? What's that dude's name?
I can't.
I'm living in a buzz on the river. Band by the river.
Yeah. He's a motivational speaker. Yeah.
So this gal kind of looked like him. Matt Foley. That's it. That's fantastic. And so
played the role of like an old Vegas entertainer.
Yeah, exactly. Matt Foley, that's it. So she gets up there and brings up two audience members, and it's basically a dance off. And what was fun about this one is you can see there's a black woman on the right side, and then this kind of a old white guy gets up. The black woman gets up there, dances. Everybody's like, yeah, shit, she can dance. He gets up there, starts taking his clothes off, like out of nowhere. The family was, you know, like 2 rows in front of us, and they're like, what the fuck is going on with Dad?
No, absolutely. And I know some people are going to think this. Absolutely. At no time whatsoever did I think that was a plan.
Oh, absolutely
that is
not.
Real.
Absolutely not a plan. Without question, it wasn't a plan. So Wayne and I are in hysterics. I mean, I am crying. This thing is so funny. And it just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. And that was the only downside to this show, is that it goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. I thought it was too long. It went an hour and a half, which is biblically long for a Vegas show.
See, I disagree. And the reason I say that it's not... At the end, it did seem to drag just ever so slightly.
It dragged after that Foley guy went up a little bit.
To the point where I was, I at one point got up and left to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
so did I.
It's like, okay, I can't wait any longer.
Right.
And I have, a good...
large, very proud bladder.
Very proud of that.
Very good.
But, some of the other shows we saw, some we'll get into tonight, some we won't, all had similar runtimes.
No. The average runtime's 70 minutes.
No.
That's the average runtime for a Vegas show.
The other one we're going to talk about later went longer.
Different. Oh, you did. But there's a reason for that, I would argue. But I thought it was too long. I thought there were a couple lulls. I think there was a lull after the Matt Foley guy. Quite frankly, I was tired. I'm like, you win. Gee, shit, you've got it. Leave a little earlier and have me wanting a bit more. So that was the only negative thing that I had about that show. But other than that, I thought it was fantastic. Okay, so what's the cost? If you go to their website, if you go to the Bally's website, or just follow the entertainment thing, you end up going to Ticketmaster. I'm not a huge fan of Ticketmaster, but their price is $54 for the show. Are discounts available? Yep. Vegas.com has them for $35. I guarantee you can get it for less. I bet you the half-price places have it for less than that. And we paid nothing for it. So here it is. Show or no-go? Do you give it a show or a no-go?
I give it 2 shows.
2 shows, baby. Yeah. And I, too. 2 shows for the Misbehave Game Show.
And the reason I say 2 shows is because I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But... You know, if I had friends come into town, I would absolutely go again and take.
That's my inside. That's my inside show now, without question. It's my inside because it's still. It's interesting. The one other thing that I didn't care for was a bit of begging right before the end about tell everybody, go. So everybody's doing this now.
That was a theme, yeah.
This is a thing. Everybody's kind of doing this where, hey, who do you guys think in the live chat? Who do you guys think is the website that is the most feared?
The authority.
The authority
when it comes to reviewing Vegas
shows.
Attractions.
What's the website that most people are like, please go to this website and tell people that we're fantastic? Which website do you think that is? I'm a little surprised by it, but every show I've seen so far, they've all said the exact same show. So Tapper says Vegas.com, Yelp. Kiwi Kim says TripAdvisor. Gregor says Yelp again because he didn't think I heard him the first time. Craig's, okay, you're done. Jags thinks youth porn. That's fantastic. The answer, living in Las Vegas, Don Flory gets a free visor. And that's all it takes to get a visor. The answer is TripAdvisor.
People could not self-gloss enough about the TripAdvisor.
Unbelievable.
Like if there was any more please review us on TripAdvisor, I'm surprised they don't have someone standing with an iPad as you leave.
Right.
To like, hey, could you take a second before you go back to your car?
I thought the little owl logo would be in the back corner going, that's right, we're fucking everywhere.
Could you just answer a couple questions here?
It was everywhere, man. It was crazy. And that theme happens everywhere. It's unbelievable. I wanted to say one more thing about it, and I forget what it was. Okay, so we'll go.
You gave it a show, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. You got to go. Oh, that's it. The inside scoop. This is the show that I would take my friends to who said, take me to a Vegas show that most people don't know about. I would go here. It used to be the Frankie Moreno show over at the Stratosphere.
Clearly, these days you can get Cirque du Soleil anywhere.
Yeah, and they are everywhere for one thing. And I've talked about Cirque du Soleil before. Go see LiLV. LiLV is a magical show. Go see Ka, magical show. Go see magic. I mean, they're great shows.
And real quick, let me add as well the diversity of the audience.
Yeah, fantastic.
Not only amongst men, women.
That guy was 50 or 70 years old.
71.
Yeah.
So one of the games they played was who's the oldest person in the room.
Yeah.
And the last person standing was a 71-year-old man.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, he was entertained.
It was great.
In the whole crowd, I saw one guy that was in the back row with his wife that just sitting there, arms crossed, like, is this over yet?
Did they call him out?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Murray's Matt Foley guy did.
Yeah.
When he goes, look at that guy back there. He's up there. He's sitting there right now thinking, fuck, is this a man or a woman?
Right. Saw ya. Right. I think I leaned to you and went, yep.
Yeah.
That's the question.
But
that's the joke.
it's this. There was a bachelorette party in the back corner.
Yep.
There was, we're talking white, black men, women.
It was great.
Gay, straight. It's have an open mind.
Yeah.
Because it's
you can't be easily offended. But actually, I would argue that Absinthe is actually dirtier.
See, I've never seen Absinthe.
You should go see that because it's a great show. That's the other. That show is my show. If you're willing to spend the money, I go to that show. But this show, I'm going to this show because it was fucking funny, and it's unique. It's not one of those shows that you see everywhere. And you got to be on your game to pull that shit off. It looks super loose, like they're kind of just making up bullshit. These guys have got the stuff nailed down. Yep. I mean, they're definitely, and they also have a lot of music cues for a lot of their stuff, which is, it requires you to know where you're going to be.
But they were cueing those a lot.
Oh yeah, they're all themselves. I mean, that was the team, and there was a lighting guy in the back who got credit at the end.
Yep.
I mean, so it's a small kind of thing.
Yeah, Amy Saunders is her name.
The
Misbehave.
Amy
Saunders.
Is it a she?
Yeah.
thought it was a drag queen.
No. It's a she.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah, shit. No kidding.
Yeah, she's a she.
What? Well, there you go. I guess I'm going to have to take that out of my description. Fantastic. Okay. Our next show, or no-go, is Mr. Las Vegas himself, Wayne Newton, everybody.
The Waynester.
Man.
And listen, up to this point, I thought I was the biggest Wayne in Las Vegas. But
that was a triple Wayne night, by the way. We'll explain why that was in a minute.
Yeah.
But so, again, we're back at Bally's. Now, this show is at the Windows Showroom, so named because it had big windows behind the stage.
Huge. You used to look out and see the strip.
And you would see what's now the Cromwell.
Now you're going to see all those tchotchke shops that they put out there.
Yeah, but here's the thing about it. The Windows Showroom used to be a really tough room. First, hard to find. Here's how you get there. You go in, again, the main entrance from Ballet, you make a hard right and hang the wall. Just stick to the wall, you go by the bar that's been there for 30 years. Keep going. You're like, where's Scott taking me? Go see an escalator. It's not very well marked. Well, I'll just go up the escalator. There's the Windows Showroom. What the hell? And that room used to be a terrible room to do a show in. We've seen several shows there.
Well, Tony and Tina's wedding was there for
we saw Chris Phillips do some stuff there. It was a really, really difficult room because those windows back there were super distracting. And there's this big, probably 3-foot wide column right in the middle of the stage. So when we first started going to that showroom, I was like, God, and it's not really a showroom. It's more like a clubby room, small comedy clubby kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there used to be, LA Comedy Club used to be there.
Well, they're still doing the comedy show there.
But not LA Comedy Club. It's a different one now. So you'd be like super distracted by the big column. You'd be super distracted by the windows back. I'm like, Jesus, this showroom can't be used. Guess what? Wrong. They've completely fixed it. That room is actually kind of a nice room now. They've basically obviously hidden the windows. They've hidden the pole. They've added a bunch of monitors on both sides. They've added some, graphics and stuff. It's actually kind of a nice room. Same thing as before. It's small, intimate. The seating is in chairs in the front and the little lounge table, not lounge tables, those cocktail tables in the front. Then some regular chairs behind that. And then pub chairs on the side. And this is new. They used to have booths all around it. And they have like a slightly raised VIP area, kind of. But that's all gone now. They just have these pub chairs on the side. And so for the folks who get the tickets for free, a lot of those people were sat there. I did one of my...
Let me tell you something, folks. Can I get a one shot?
You certainly can. If
you ever have the pleasure of attending a show with the Scott Whitney, it will blow your mind. Whether the show is terrible or not, you will be sitting in some of the best seats ever. Every show that I've seen with this man, and we're up to almost a half dozen now, our seats have been upgraded to either a VIP section, a booth, a better location. I don't know what he does. I don't know what photos he has. I don't know what blackmail he holds on to.
Yeah.
But nobody...
Get on the mic.
Nobody can get a seat in a showroom like Scott Whitney.
Thank you very much. You're very kind. I used to be a spy. It is photos.
It's amazing.
And the right business card.
I watch it happen. I see it happen, and I don't know how it happens.
It's kind of magical, isn't it? That's cool. All right. Let's continue on. Enough about me. All right. So we're moving forward here. We talked about the room. Let's talk about the actual view to the stage. It's small and intimate. There really isn't a bad seat in the house. Our seat was magical. It was fantastic. I could probably throw shit. Actually, I could have easily thrown stuff and hit Wayne.
Let's just put it this way. We were so close that on his way in, Wayne shook our hands.
He shook our hands. Doc of shame, baby. What's happening up, baby? Here's my tip for that room. Just like I learned this a long time ago, and perfect example. So when you go in there, just have a 5 or a 10 5 or 10 will do it in that room.
No soprano.
Handshake to the maitre d' that's seating you, and you're going to get front and center. Now, we didn't get row 1. We got where I wanted to be. We had a little table. We had nobody was behind us. We're like, this is okay. How you doing? I had an aisle here.
Yep.
Wayne came right by me. He chatted. Diamonds everywhere.
Yep.
This is fantastic. fantastic. So 5 or 10, it'll get you any seat in the house. Okay, let's talk about the performance. Wayne, your namesake?
You know, I'll be brutally honest. The only reason I wanted to see this show is because I, probably like a lot of you out there, love Las Vegas.
Yeah. I
love the past and hearing about it, and you see the way things were and the way things are now. And a lot of people pine for those olden times. So for me, my only other experience with Wayne Newton is seeing him in Vegas Vacation. Where like most of you have as well.
Right.
I wasn't really familiar with his music other than the dog is shame.
Go.
That's the only words I know.
Darling, dog is shame.
So I have to say, I didn't have that high of expectations. I just thought this is someone I should see before he's not performing anymore.
Yep.
I mean, this is a man who shook Sinatra's hand.
That's right.
Of all things. And
They're good friends.
Those people left.
Very good friends.
So I was like, I should see this just so that I can say that I saw it. This was my Vegas icon.
Yep.
And so not knowing him very well, I didn't have a lot of expectations. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, it was.
The man can entertain.
No shit. Been doing it for 65 years.
Something. No, they said,
years.
Yeah.
It's like 4.
He was 4 when he was on TV for the
And then he got his first gig. He tells the whole story about his first gig was basically Golden Nugget. No, it was Fremont Street.
It was Binions or Fremont.
I think it was Fremont. Mm-hmm. And he was like 8. Or it was just some insane. They're like, yeah, we'll have you play for a week. Well, I'll have you play for a week, kid, and we'll see how you do. Mm-hmm. And then the next thing is like, we'll have you play for a year, a week, kid, because you're pretty damn good.
6 shows a night.
6 shows a night.
40 minutes on. 20 minutes off.
Yeah, and
he couldn't be in the casino
7 nights a week.
Yep.
So 6 nights a week. So that's 36 shows a week. And he's too young to be in the casino. So when he was done, he'd have to go out of the casino, sit out basically in the alley and wait for his 20 minutes and come back in again. Mm-hmm. All right. So this is for sure all about nostalgia, man.
Yeah.
Like Wayne said, if you have any respect at all for Vegas and its history, and this cat's available, well, you just got to go. It doesn't matter if he's sitting on a chair and just rocking back and forth and listen to Don Cachet on a record. You got to go and check this cat out because holy crap, this has got to be fan. So, he comes in, he enters the room from the back. Music is playing, the big band is playing, and I'll talk about the band in a minute. So music starts playing, the big band kind of stuff. And then you hear him voice and you're looking around and like, well, where the, I paid my money. Where's Wayne? And next thing you know, Wayne's behind you.
Right.
Holy crap, it's Wayne. What's going on? I'm not a handshaky guy. That's not my thing. Like, I'm going to be working for Gene Simmons this weekend. Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan of Kiss. Huge fan. I am not going to go up and go, hey, Gene, can I get a peek? I might get a picture, but I'm not that guy. It's just not my thing. So, but Wayne comes by and it's fucking Wayne Newton. He's got his diamond things.
He's singing as he comes out.
He's like, and I'm like, well, and I shook his hand. He shook my hand. And he's having a good time. He's kissing babies and hugging bears. And it was fantastic seeing this guy come through. So he comes through, and you see to yourself, this is a 70-year-old guy who is still pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
And that's fun. Okay, so the big thing about this show, and the real reason why I wanted to go, was not to hear him sing. And I'll talk about that in a second. I had heard it was a very Q&A centric show, taking questions from the audience.
They call it up close and personal.
That's right. And guess what? It was.
Right.
Now, what they didn't do...
Well, before we got in the showroom, let's back up for just a quick second.
Yep.
They did 2 things.
Oh, that's true.
The first was they had a woman going through soliciting, does anybody have any questions?
Right, and I did. Mm-hmm. I said...
And so you asked a question.
My question was, I know that you can speak German based upon Dankeschön, any other languages that you speak fluently.
Right.
By the way, that question
she jotted that down.
Got a huge laugh. in the actual Q&A.
So jot that down. And the second thing that you were very impressed about was...
I forget.
Okay. In the line to get in, they had cocktail service.
Service coming by in the lines. That's fantastic. When was the last... I just sound like Jerry Seinfeld there. Oh, my God. How can they do that? It was great. So cocktail waiters come into, excuse me, here's your strawberry daiquiri. I'm like, this is a really good idea. because it took a little long to get in there, and it was a little bit later than we would expect, so that was great as well. But so it was a Q&A thing, but it wasn't a live Q&A thing. In other words, people weren't raising their hands and asking Wayne a question. They were getting questions from the audience.
They were pre-scrubbed.
Yeah, clearly there is some concern with being asked a question that he doesn't want to be asked.
Right. And like, hey, Wayne, how's your checking account?
Right, right.
That would not go over well.
I understand that you bought the Aladdin Hotel. Why did that fail?
Yeah.
You know, those questions are probably not the questions that Wayne wants to answer at 70x years old in front of a bunch of
But the very first question, Wayne, I have Scott from here in Las Vegas would like to know. That's right. They said, do you speak any other language?
Well, they said, Scott, where are you? Could you stand up?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure, I'll fucking stand up. What's happening? God damn it, I have to talk to Shay. It's fantastic. And they also did a part where they had all the ex-military people stand up as well, and they saluted everybody, which, by the way, civilians aren't supposed to salute, but I can't tell Wayne that because he used to work for the USL.
Right, he still does.
Yeah, he still does. So I can't say, hey, Wayne, you're not allowed to salute, actually. I'm not allowed to salute because I'm a civilian now, so stop. I didn't do that. Right. So he starts, so it's interspersed. It's storytelling, super nostalgia stuff. He takes huge advantage of clips from the past. Yep. Which is smart because you look at the guy and you go, I don't really remember. I mean, he's Wayne Newton. He's Mr. Vegas. We get that. But what did he do? Right. Well, guess what? He did hang around with Sinatra. He did hang out with that cat. He's got a bunch of pictures. Oh, by the way, here's the bracelet that he gave me, that Sinatra gave me. I'm wearing it right now. I'm like, holy, that's
you geeked out about the performance video.
Oh, with Glenn Campbell. Yep. So he and Glenn Campbell were friends, and you may not remember who Glenn Campbell was, you youngins who might be listening, but Glenn Campbell was a god. You know, he was a fantastic singer, great songwriter, and an amazing guitar player. And they were buddies. And he told this great story of when Glenn Campbell was in England and he was in England, and Glenn picked up the phone and goes, hey, man, I'm doing this show, man, and why don't you just come by? I was like, well, sure, what's rehearsal? Just come on by, we'll figure something out. And then they showed the clip and it was fantastic. And then he provided some inside scoops and behind the scenes of how that actually was done and why he was looking at him the way he was. And it was really, really sweet. Yep. And fun and nice and nostalgic. And the story about how he took over when Ronald Reagan became president. Before, on 4th of July, the Beach Boys used to play. And then Reagan said, actually it wasn't Reagan, but it was one of his people. Said, well, those kids are too radical. We're going to have Wayne Newton up there. And Wayne was freaking out about it. He's like, oh, no one's going to show up. And it was pouring rain. And he's like, thank God, let it rain, let it be shitty. I just don't want to come out because I'm going to get basically crushed by these people. Oh, God shows up. It's sunshine. He's like, oh shit. He walks out, 300,000 people out there. And you see this clip and you're like, God damn. That's the shit, man. This guy has been there, and he's of course done the USO stuff. He took over for Bob Hope. Ever hear of him? Yeah, he's kind of important. And it just went on and on and on as being fantastic. Now, who's up there as well? It wasn't just Wayne. He had a little band up there, a keyboard player and a drummer who he's been with for 30, 40, whatever many years. And, you know, those guys held their own. It wasn't, you're not going to get a big band there. It's a small room and they're trying to keep costs down. And so basically the drummer is, you know, doing, welcome everybody to the Windows Showroom.
He is announcer.
He's doing the whole
sound
thing.
Mixer.
That's right.
Drummer.
Sound effects. He's doing it all. And then there's a keyboard player who's, you know, probably 90 years old going,
just doing keys.
Just doing like, 1, 5, 4, 1, 4, 3,
glasses,
2, 1, 4. That's what he was doing. It was like 5. And it was kind of up. And then there was a woman's sidekick who was the question answerer.
Kind of like the moderator.
Yeah. And she was referred to a couple times. Oh, here's a couple of pictures. So there's Wayne there. He's looking pretty good for 70X or whatever he is. And there's the band. And there is the band again. So this woman comes up there, you know, not 20 years old, you know, older gal. And she gets up there and she's the moderator, like Wayne said. And they joked about, you know, other things, other women, and come to find out she is his wife. And which is nice. And she was up there for 80% of the show, came in about a song into it and left a couple songs out of it. And nice. She played her part well, stayed in, stayed out, clapped when she was supposed to clap.
The moderating and then also a little bit of the background vocals on Daddy.
She did actually. Yeah, she did. She did. So clearly my favorite part was the use of video from the past. Story, and you could tell he was still quick. He was doing vaudevillian kind of jokes, boom, kind of stuff, but good. His delivery is sharp. He's still in the game. I mean, this guy's in the game, man. You could tell he's an entertainer. Yeah. He wasn't. This was like, I got this. Now, I got a couple videos of his performance. And I will say this, that I was impressed with, and there's just been this spate of entertainers saying, there'll be no phones. I want you to experience us in person. I'm like, fuck off. I'm paying for it. I should do it. I can do whatever I want. No, I'm going to put your shit in a bag and you can't. Okay. Right. Wayne didn't do that. And if anybody was going to do it, it could be Wayne Newton. Right. Because clearly he's exposed to some potential issues. But he's like, yeah, I saw him, pointing to a couple people with their phone.
On the way out, he took selfies with people.
Oh, yeah. So he wasn't too worried about the phone stuff. So I took a couple videos. The first one is, I wanted to hear him sing Dankeschön. This is the song that made him famous. He was, I think he was 14. He sounds like he's 10 or 8 when he sang it. Dankeschön, darling, about that high. And so they've obviously changed the key just a little bit to handle it. And here it is. Here's an example of Dankeschön. There's the wife. That's him when he shot or did the recording. Little guitar or microphone cord fun there. So it was interesting when I watched that because I had heard so many people say he can't sing anymore. And while I was there, I thought, you know what? This isn't bad. Now, when I listened to that video isolated like that, could be better. Without question, it could be a bit better. But when I was in the mode, when I was there hanging out, I thought, yep. This isn't bad. I don't understand what people are bitching about. He's 75 years old. He's been singing for 75 years. The guy's probably got a horse.
And you mentioned this. I mean, he made a smart use of those video clips. Not only add to the retrospective vibe of the whole show, the theme, but it does give him time to kind of pause. Yep. But the nice thing about it was, even though these built-in breaks are kind of in there, I thought they all segued together very nicely.
Yeah, and actually they were, and some of those were highlights. I mean, there was like, oh, this is pretty cool seeing the guy who, and it was fun. It was kind of cute and charming watching him watch himself. Because he would, occasionally hear himself singing, and he would be kind of mouthing the words, and he would look and go, that wasn't so bad. I used to be able to sing. And then a lot of people don't know that he was known as being a multi-instrument guy as well. And I always look at that, I'm like, yeah, he could probably play, 135 or 145 on a guitar or whatever. He's probably not very good. Come to find out, he actually was a pretty good guitar player, a pretty good fiddle player. As a matter of fact, one of the segments was him playing fiddle, and here's an example of that. Go, Wayne! It's fantastic, man.
It was good.
I was like, holy shit. So the worst part for me would have been the singing, I guess. And that's kind of making me pick something, but it didn't bother me. I didn't really care.
See, for me, because I didn't know him that well, I wanted to hear him sing. I wanted to hear him talk. So the part, one of your favorite parts when he's performing with Glenn Campbell, they show the whole performance.
Yeah.
And for me, that got a little... You know, I almost felt, even though I probably couldn't, like, okay, if I wanted to see this, I'd go on YouTube. Like, you know, let's get back. Give me some more Wayne.
Yeah,
like,
I get that.
Because it was one of the longer running clips.
Yeah, and I think part of it has to do with your age, quite frankly. I mean, I was alive when he was doing that stuff. I was aware and cognizant. You were not.
Right.
And so there is a certain, you know, this is the guy I saw in my, you know, when all there was ABC, CBS, NBC, and he was on all of them. That's the same guy who I'm seeing right now who's, you know, kissing babies and shaking hands and stuff. So I thought that was pretty slick. Okay, cost. The show tickets are between $71 and $178. I'm assuming the high end is for meet and greet. And we saw somebody who did a meet and greet. And I think they paid more than that, but you get to meet Wayne. It's kind of pretty cool. Discounts, probably. Vegas.com has it for $75. You know, we got it for nothing because of a site that we belong to. And I'm guessing the discount brokers on the street also have those tickets available.
Oh, it has to be. I mean, if they're papering the room,
they're still so they're still trying to, that room is, and that's it. They're papering the room, which basically means that there's still free tickets happening there. So you definitely could go to, you know, show tickets or half price tickets or whatever those places are called. Show or no go, Wayne?
It's a show. Now the only caveat would be why it doesn't get 2 shows from me like Misbehave is that only really if like my mother or somebody who was really into Wayne Newton wanted to go, would I go again? Not because I didn't like it, but just it's one of those things where I've seen it once. I'd be sitting through the same video clips and hearing the same story. So it would be lost on me. So I would only go for someone else's benefit and I wouldn't enjoy it like I would Misbehave again.
For me, I'm going to give it 2. 2 thumbs up, 2 shows, because again, it was my time. I did know this guy. I've seen this guy on all those channels. I remember a lot of what he talked about. I knew all the people he talked about. Who's Glenn Campbell? And Wayne's like, well, fuck, I don't know. You know who Frank Sinatra is.
So
yeah, right. Yeah. But for me, it was a special, magical time. Now, if I were to pick between the 2 to bring somebody from out of town, I'd probably do the Misbehave show as well. All right. So this went significantly longer than I thought it would be. So we're going to roll right into Have a Drink. All right, it's time for Have a Drink on Me. It's part of the show where I show you a picture of a pub or a speakeasy or a lounge, but not one of those lounges because we don't go there. And I show you this picture, and then you send in your guesses to Have a Drink at VegasVideoNetwork.com. Again, Have a Drink. There's that lower third. Where is that?
Graphic for this.
We do. There it is right there. Have a Drink at VegasVideoNetwork.com. You send in your guess to that, and then you have a chance to win some stuff. But first, you have a chance to multiply your potential wins. Here's how you can do it. First, a correct entry. Seems like a low bar. You get a correct entry, we put you in the hat. Second, if you submit an entry and you're in the live chat during this part of the show, boom, that's a double. If you send a video entry, that's a triple. If you are the first correct answer, that's a quadruple. And if you do an intro video for the whole show where you say, hey, I'm Dave Smith from Poughkeepsie, and you're watching the Living in Las Vegas podcast, you get one of those. Even if you don't even play Have a Drink on Me, I'm putting you in the hat 5 ways. Now, you can win some pretty groovy stuff. Is that right, Scott? It is. What can you win, Wayne?
Made by the finest craftsmen in China. Out of this 100% silky smooth cotton, you can get yourself a Vegas Video Network visor. Yes, nobody makes cotton or spins cotton like the Chinese, and nobody in Boston's Vegas Video Network.
What the hell is that?
Like
this was not made. This was made in like Kentucky.
It says China on it.
Well, I'm talking about the actual embroidery.
Oh, stitching? Oh, yeah, there you go.
There's more though.
At least you brought some jobs back to America.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
CD-wise, hey, you know what else the Chinese make? They make CD players.
What?
And you can use those CD players to listen to such timeless classics. Not donkish timeless. I'm talking like in the last, 20 years timeless. They could be get Jazzathon, Chris McCoustic too. So take your Wayne Newton CD out and geek yourself on old Scott Whitney.
No longer available at Best Buy, by the way.
That's true. They're doing away with them.
That's right.
Finally, you can meet Scott Whitney for a drink if you happen to be here in this little town we call the Las Vegas. Don't do it at Bowie's because shots start at $13.25.
Oh, that's some bullshit, by the way.
I don't know who you think you are. I literally said in the survey to them, I said this to you, they sent me a survey. My comment was, you're Bowie's, not the Bellagio.
Right.
But Scott will take you for a drink. And then you know what you should do to reciprocate? You should buy Scott a ticket to a show you're going to go see, bring him with you, and have him upgrade the seats.
Nice. Good play there. Thank you very much, Waynsky. All right. Well played. Well played. Now, if you win a visor and you take a picture of yourself and you send that picture back into me, magic happens. And I don't like to brag about it. I don't like to boast, but I am the guy who gives the magic the most. And if you're wondering, is there a title for me? Is there a category in which I live? The answer is yes. If you do all the things I've asked you, you win, you take a picture of your visor, you send it back to me, you become a part of the galaxy of God. There's Gregor, who is new, and Bill, and Mr. Testy, and Steve, and Michael, and Robert, and Rosie, and Michael again, and Scott, and Vicky, and Bubba. Wait, there's more. There's Alan and Aaron, who are nudist, and Bob's wife, and Danny, and Shanna, Chan, and Craig, and Glenn, and Jimmy, 2 G's, and Rob, and both, who are in Hawaii. And then there's Stuart and Christina, whose all babies are because of my music, and Don and Jackie and Mike. Look out! And Pops. And then there's Sammy, but wait, there's more. And Carol, lots of people, and a dog, and Chris. And there is Brett's dad. And there's your buddy Scott. And there's your buddy Wayne. And let's not forget our good buddy Brett as well. Okay. Whew. Walking through this, ladies and germs.
All right.
Let's
keep it rocking.
We had 19 of 21 correct answers this time.
Christmas.
19 of 21. Here's last week's Have a Drink on Me for episode 320. It was pretty easy. And the answer is C-Bar at Stratosphere, the C-Bar at Stratosphere, and again, of course, the C-Bar at Stratosphere. All right. Are you ready, my friend?
Sure.
Here we go.
Like Family Feud. Let's make this fast.
Let's go. Yeah, no around. Ready? Number 1, Bob Thomas. 1 for the correct answer. Bob gets 1 for being the first correct answer. And I think Bob is the guy who's Bob T. So he gets a 3rd correct answer because he's in the live chat. It's a triple already. We have 3 in there. They're all Bob. Next up, we have Eric Ace of Bats. He's in there. 1 for the correct answer. 1 for being in the live chat. John in Ohio, 1 for the correct answer. We've got Dan Jaggers, Jags53, 1 for the correct answer, Jags53, 1 for being in the live chat. Smart people in the live chat. We've got Mike Q, 1 for the correct answer, 1 for being in the live chat. We've got Gregor Tapscott. No! You greedy bastard. He won last week. I showed his picture. He got a visor. He sent the picture in, and then he still played. Greg, I think we're going to put him in Siberia for a month.
Wow.
That's it, Gregor.
Kim Jong-Scott has spoken.
Kim Jong-Scott, baby. I've got a better haircut, and I'm funner to be with. And funner is not a real word. Woody Acorn, also sometimes known as Lost 1-2. 1 for correct answer. Moving forward, we've got Bill 98036. He wrote, "Am I first?" He was 9th. He also asked, how about a show about the best retirement jobs in Vegas?
That would
depend on how retirement went.
I'd have to defer that to you.
Yeah, fuck off.
Only one of us is a member of AARP in this room.
I'm not a member, but they keep sending me shit. Okay, moving forward. Mr. Testy, 1 for the correct answer, 1 for being in the live chat. We've got Barney, who also goes by WVU Barney, 1 for the correct answer. We've got John in Florida, 1 for the correct answer. We've got Monica Fagan, also known as Binky, 1 for the correct answer. We've got Jim Gallagher, 1 for the correct answer. Jimmy 2Gs, 1 for being in the live chat. We've got Andy in New Hampshire, who's been playing forever. I'm not sure he's won yet, but I feel like he should win soon. John Herman in New York City, 1 for the correct answer. Mike Beatty, whoops, careful now, 1 for the correct answer. We've got Paul, also known as Condor 954. Paul gets 1 for the correct answer. Paul is in the live chat, and he gets another one. Eric in Vegas, 1 for the correct answer. We've got Richard, also known as Phase Jitter, 1 for the correct answer and 1 for being in the live chat. And Richard writes, my Haddam entry is C-Bar. I've enjoyed the live broadcast since first tuning in a few months back, and also between the live shows, viewing the bounteous, which is not a real word, number of Living in Las Vegas archive shows in the past are equally entertaining and informative. Thank you, Richard. Thanks, Richard. And I say thanks to him as well. All right. And then finally, Pops, 1 for the correct answer. Pops, 1 for being in the live chat. Pops, 1 for this Scorsedesian classic.
Hey, you kids. You'd think with so long to work on it, this week's video would be something spectacular. But that's not how we work around here. We just throw something together in the morning of the show and send it on in. This week's answer is a good one, though. It's the C-Bar at the Stratosphere, down there on the north end of Las Vegas Boulevard. Can't even really call it the Strip anymore. It's down there in a sleazy, greasy, cheesy area. But this place has a 24-hour-a-day happy hour with drink specials that change every 2 hours, and the drink specials are always $6 or less. It's not $18 like those 1%er places down there on the other end of the Strip. It's not the place to take your lady for a fine evening out. But you want to take your bros down there and get your drink on? This is the place. C-Bar at the Stratosphere. Thumbs up for this one. It's a good pick, Scott.
Thank you, Pops. And then he's also playing with Big Baby at Jacksonville, Florida. Look at that, Pops. All right, let's go. You got all 3 of the stuff in there?
Yep.
There we go. Hey, we're now at an hour. Wow. Wayne and Misbehave got away from us. Just a little bit.
I can't believe you didn't think it wasn't a woman.
Really? Did you think it was a guy?
I wasn't sure. I had to go Google.
I really thought it was a drag queen. I'm so sorry. I was going to say, hey, we reviewed you, and now I can't do that. Sorry, I thought you were a drag
All right,
queen.
your winner, even though I've covered it up, it's 2 words. It's gentleman. It's not a name. No, it's, I think it's something that Elon Musk just launched into space.
It's Phase Jitter, everybody. A recent follower of our stuff. Way to go, Phase Jitter. You, Richard, by the way, you're going to get an email from me at some point in the next month asking you what would you like to win. Okay, let's move forward, shall we? Here is this week's Have a Drink Upon Moi. And the hints are as follow. Do you know it?
Oh, was it that, was I there when
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, hint number 1. This restaurant, the bar in this restaurant the restaurant this bar is located in is in also New York City, Miami, and Hong Kong. The restaurant this bar is also located in New York City, Miami, and Hong Kong. Hint number 2. Their menu doesn't include the 3-letter sandwich, which shares the same name. Their menu does not include the 3-letter sandwich, which shares the name of this bar. And hint number 3, if you listen to the first half of the show, you know where this bar is located. If you listen to the first half of the show, you know where this bar is located. If you have the right answer, and I think you do, you're going to send it to haveadrink@vegasvideonetwork.com. Again, have a drink at vegasvideonetwork.com. And that's it, everybody. Woo-wee.
Time flies when you're...
We got lots of email questions and chat things and real things that we're going to talk about later. You know, if you want to send us an email, you can. You go to, you say, wait, what happened to that thing? What's going on there? Oh, can I believe that I screwed that up? Scott. Wait a minute. So now that just makes me angry. That should be a buffer. Buffer 8? Oh, well. Send it to honorq@livinginlv.com. Again, honorq@livinginlv.com. You can leave us a voicemail on our home site, our homepage. You can see us in social media. We're on iTunes. We're all over the place. Give us a thumbs or a 5-star review on iTunes. Why not? We're on the YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. Share us. We're on Roku. 70,000 accounts installed. Stitcher, TuneIn, Chromecast, Apple, Google Fire TV, Google Play, and of course, the Vegas Video Network website as well. I'm Scott. That's Wayne. Thank you so much for playing along. We'll see you guys next time on the Living in Las Vegas podcast. Take care. Bye.